that under there?
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the most unexpected and hilarious cameos on SNL.
Please give it up. Two exciting entertainers performing together for the very first time.
Number 30, Daniel Craig. When Rami Malek and Kenan Thompson auditioned to play a music icon, they try to match Prince's singular energy.
So the only way to settle this is to have a Prince-off.
A Prince-off, sir?
What the hell is a Prince-off?
The two each put their own spin on the musician until Daniel Craig interrupts them. Thinking he's auditioning to play a literal prince, the James Bond star arrives in his own silly outfit.
Sorry, Daniel Craig.
To audition for the part of the prince?
The British performer is also game for anything with a goofy appearance. He's not afraid to make fun of himself, showing that he doesn't take his profession too seriously. His impressions end up winning over the audience in a major way. Stealing the sketch and the role, Craig reminds people of his comedy chops.
How was that?
That was bad. But you're James Bond, so you got the part.
Number 29, Glenn Powell. In this monologue, Sydney Sweeney pokes fun at her celebrity status and personal life. One of the funniest moments comes when she addresses her rumored affair with co-star Glenn Powell.
That's obviously not true. Me and my fiance produced the movie together, and he was there the entire shoot.
This leads to a hilarious cutaway, with Powell there to deliver a silent performance.
He even came here tonight to support me. Can we cut to him?
It's nice to see these Anyone But You stars still working together and playing pranks on their fans. Turning their fake relationship into a joke, both stars find a way to laugh off the tabloids. They aren't a couple in real life, but they certainly have enough chemistry to pull off this moment. Number 28, Mark Hamill. On this home shopping show, the presenters try to sell off Star Wars collectibles. The segment then takes a shocking and hilarious turn when they bring out Mark Hamill.
How's it going, everybody?
Now, how much is this item going for?
Beautiful item.
Appearing to be a hostage, the actor tries to go along with this ridiculous situation. Hamill has to contend with the inept hosts and even deliver some memorable quotes.
Just play ball, Hamill.
Let's do it.
Just play ball.
All right.
Luke, I am your father.
I'm sorry, man. That sucked.
There are a few more surprises as the sketch continues, including an entertaining interaction with Harrison Ford. The Luke Skywalker performer gets to show off some of his vocal impressions and joke about his breakthrough role. With this enjoyable premise, the guest helps to satirize crazed fan bases with this appearance.
Are you sure that's really Hamill?
We guarantee.
Oh, come on. Of course it's me. We worked together 3 times. Come on.
What the hell? I'll take him.
Number 27, Travis Kelce. On this sports program, the presenters mention the prevalence of Taylor Swift at NFL games. The guys then go off the rails mentioning various references to the musician, her relationships, and her music catalog.
It's so early. You're treating it like it's Joe all over again. That won't end well. Didn't you listen to Karma? What? Karma's not about Joe?
It all culminates in a funny cameo from Travis Kelce. The latter just wants to talk football, but only has a brief moment at the end to say his piece.
When we get back, we are going to speak with someone who actually wants to talk football.
Yes!
Kelce adds a ton of charisma to the sketch as he avoids talking about his high-profile romance with Swift. It's even more surprising to see the athlete show up as the partnership hit viral status. Number 26, Julia Stiles. Appearing on Weekend Update to discuss holiday gift ideas, Chloe Fineman offers up a unique substitute to the usual cliches.
The perfect holiday gift this year is the dance that Julia Stiles does at the end of the 2001 movie, Save the Last Dance.
She reenacts a scene from Save the Last Dance with all of its unintentionally hilarious details. Feynman also welcomes the film star Julia Stiles to help her complete the routine.
So does she get into Juilliard?
Yes!
Fans of the 2001 movie will enjoy the performer's strange moves, not to mention the bizarre context behind the entire performance. Stiles steps in with all the confidence of her original role. Her appearance elevates this segment into a goofy and nostalgic takedown of the teen romance.
Okay, so Colin, what did you think?
Well, I can't say this on the record yet, but welcome to Juilliard.
Number 25, Nicolas Cage. In a recurring segment, Andy Samberg plays Nicolas Cage, and welcomes other actors to chat about his profession. This time, he welcomes the real man in a fun subversion of the premise.
Well, good evening, Nick. You're looking very well tonight.
Oh, that's very kind of you, Nick. You look great, too.
Cage plays along with Sandberg's impression, but he also throws out some hilarious critiques. The star takes aim at his co-star's exaggerated features and over-the-top delivery.
This Nick is calm and stealthy, like a ninja warrior.
Whereas this Nick is an exaggerated, screaming psychopath. Just doesn't exist.
They even come together to satirize Cage's filmography, discussing the outrageous elements of his projects such as Ghost Rider. The absurd idea also has both men complimenting each other before it's all over. In the end, they hint at their next adventure with an incredible reference to National Treasure.
The time has come for us to ride on to our next adventure.
What is that?
We're gonna have a three-way with the Declaration of Independence.
Number 24, two wild and crazy duos. Instead of using three bachelors, this dating show includes two iconic duos from SNL history. Justin Timberlake and Andy Samberg reprise their roles as the R&B singers, bringing their own compositions with hilarious lyrics.
Hey girl, you sound like a real tenderoni. So come take a ride with us.
The other competitors are the Festrunk brothers, better known as the Wild and Crazy Guys.
Your swinging dream dates have finally arrived for you!
So get ready to take a hike, because we are two wild and crazy guys!
With a sketch this chock full of legends, you can't go wrong. There are enough funny references and jokes in here to make you forget the original premise. It's especially fun to see Dan Aykroyd and Steve Martin return with the same energy as they brought in the 1970s. Even if the scene flies off the rails, the performers still bring the laughs in this endlessly entertaining segment.
We've had 2 ways, 3 ways, about to have 5, 'cause we're 4 wild and crazy guys.
Number 23, Janet Reno. Taking on an unlikely role, Will Ferrell made the most of his Janet Reno impression.
Hello, everybody. Well, here it is, my last day as Attorney General, and the farewell episode of Janet Reno's dance party. Zip it! Just zip it!
His version of the politician loves to dance and has a stubborn personality, making the real woman's cameo even more surprising here. She busts through the wall and matches Ferrell's impersonation in a hilarious shakeup of this recurring sketch series. Showing that she isn't too self-serious, Reno plays well opposite a comedy legend. She's not the typical performer, but the leader shows that she's a good sport that can dish out funny jabs of her own. The Attorney General also sticks around to share an unforgettable dance with her scene partner.
Oh, Janet, I can't believe I have to say goodbye. What do you do when you get sad?
I just dance. Now hit it!
Number 22, The Dictator and Martin Scorsese. Sacha Baron Cohen's Admiral General Aladdin stops by to plug The Dictator, mentioning the biased critiques of his film.
Look at this one from A.O. Scott from the New York Times. The Dictator is the best film I have seen in the last 10 years. There, I said it. Please, please, not my face.
He intimidates various people for positive reviews, including a kidnapped Martin Scorsese. The acclaimed director is electrocuted until he gives Aladdin the right answer, playing into the dark humor of the segment.
Speak freely.
It was good. It was great. It was better than Raging Bull.
Scorsese is especially game to show up for a movie that isn't even his own. Playing well off of Cohen's genius, the filmmaker shows that he has potential in more comedic roles. His final send-off even includes a few fun references for cinephiles to enjoy.
Okay, very well. Put him back in the cell with Coppola.
No, you told me I'd be released.
Well, you promised me that Hugo would be under 2 hours.
But it wasn't actually.
Number 21, Dr. Evil. In light of evil headlines, Mike Myers returned to SNL with one of his best movie characters. He brought back this villain for a funny cold open about the North Korea and Sony debacle.
Hello, I'm Dr. Evil. I've preempted this program because I'm furious that North Korea and Sony Pictures have both given evil organizations a bad name.
Dr. Evil's speech feels straight out of an Austin Powers script, complete with some hilarious jokes aimed at everyone from Kim Jong-un to James Franco. There are even a few references to the spy series that spawned this character in the first place.
What are you gonna do next, GOP? Ask for $1 million.
With some great makeup work, the actor disappears into the role once more in a laugh-inducing sketch. Myers even gets to make fun of himself with a love guru shout-out.
Look, I saw the interview. It was charming. But if you really want to put a bomb in a theater, do what I did. Put in the love guru.
By the end of this scene, he proves that he hasn't lost any of his sketch comedy talents. Number 20, Eminem. In a parody of Eminem's Stan, Pete Davidson plays Stu, a young man with an increasingly unhealthy obsession with getting his hands on a PS5. Throughout the skit, we're teased with potential cameos from Dairo and even Elton John, but these turn out to be fellow castmates Kate McKinnon and Bowen Yang.
This year Christmas will be rare. Santa sucks and Stu is sad. We've already asked you very nicely, and now he's really pissed off.
But even as the words Slim Shady flash up on Stu's TV, we still can't quite believe that we're seeing the real Slim Shady. As he unwraps a PS5, he has some choice words for Stu. This sketch was the Christmas gift we didn't even know we wanted.
Sorry, Stu. You
Number 19, Brad Pitt. In an interview, Dr. Fauci joked that he would want Brad Pitt to play him on SNL, and his wish was their command.
Here are some suggestions that I've heard. Ben Stiller, Brad Pitt. Which one?
Oh, Brad Pitt, of course.
In the cold opening for their At Home series, Pitt adopts Fauci's recognizable voice and mannerisms to address some of the misinformation surrounding the COVID-19 pandemic, particularly those shared by a certain individual. Pitt even received an Emmy nomination for his cameo, and high praise from the doctor himself. Before wrapping up, the actor removes his costume to pay tremendous gratitude to the real Dr. Fauci, as well as everyone who has been working tirelessly on the front lines.
And to the real Dr. Fauci, thank you for your calm and your clarity in this unnerving time. And thank you to the medical workers, first responders, and their families for being on the front line.
Number 18, Judge Judy. Sherry O'Terry's impression of this no-nonsense, badass TV judge is one of her best and most memorable recurring characters from her SNL tenure. However, there is one person who thinks there's still room for improvement. Mid-skit, Sherry is interrupted by the one and only Judge Judy, who has come as iron-fisted justice to show Sherry what it means to spit fire in the courtroom.
I've seen enough, Sherry. Get up. Get your bony ass out of my chair. Get up. Watch and listen. Judge Judy's ready to rule.
If you thought Sherry's Judge Judy was direct, you ain't seen nothing yet. Sherry fights for a piece of the action, but she's simply no match for the OG.
This is ludicrous! Hey! I got your back.
Now you got it. Now you got it.
Number 17, Ellie Kemper, Ed Helms, Nancy Carell, and Jenna Fischer. When Steve Carell hosted the show in 2018, he made it crystal clear that an Office reboot was not in the cards.
Oh, actually, I don't think so. It was a great experience. I love all of those people, but I just don't think it's the best idea. I think maybe we should just leave it alone.
But then it isn't just fans who are disappointed by the news. Carell's old castmates appear among the audience to jump on the reboot bandwagon and try to persuade him to think of the money.
I need that money. Let's get that money, Steve.
I'm sorry, Ellie. I just don't think it's a good idea.
You're a jerk.
Arguably, though, the most hilarious cameo comes from Carell's wife and former SNL cast member Nancy and their kids, who are also keen to see the show revived.
We think you should probably do the show.
Honey, I just don't want to spend that much time away from you guys.
Well, we don't really need you to hang around anymore, right?
He invites his co-stars on stage, and we wait with bated breath for the announcement that never comes. Well, at least we got this mini reunion. Number 16, Leonardo DiCaprio. Riding high on his Oscar nomination, Jonah Hill is brought crashing back down to earth when the audience shows more interest in his Wolf of Wall Street co-star Leonardo DiCaprio. But although Leo's name is mentioned several times, it doesn't seem probable that he would suddenly walk out onto the 8H stage.
But we need a real actor like you, okay? That's...
Making his one and only appearance on the show, the Oscar-winning actor calls Hill out for acting like a big shot.
What did we say about acting like a big shot in public like this?
We said that like I shouldn't do it, like I shouldn't be a big shot or whatever.
Right, and what should you do instead?
Just like try to like be the best version of me or whatever that I can
be. He tops off his memorable cameo by reenacting one of Titanic's most iconic moments. How has Lee never hosted before? Quick, someone get Lorne Michaels on the phone. Number 15, Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, and Tracy Morgan. Hosting for the first time since 1984, Eddie Murphy emerged onto the stage while the audience enthusiastically chanted his name. Naturally, such a momentous occasion couldn't pass by without some surprise appearances, which is why we were thrilled when he was joined by comedy icons Tracy Morgan, Chris Rock, and Dave Chappelle.
Hey, oh my God! It's Dave Chappelle, ladies and gentlemen!
After some first-rate banter, including a Lizzo shout-out, these cameo comedy icons paid tribute to the comedian who paved the way for their own careers. Especially Chappelle, who says he's been following Murphy's blueprint very closely.
You know, I followed your blueprint for my entire career.
Did you?
Yeah, I became the biggest star on television and then I quit.
Joined by Keenan at the end, we get to revel in some of comedy's finest entertainers. Number 14, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Dana Carvey and Kevin Nealon's popular recurring skit featured Hans and Franz, two Austrian bodybuilding enthusiasts who are more about the flex than the fitness. They idolize their cousin Arnold Schwarzenegger, who usually appears in the form of a cardboard cutout in the background. However, the real Schwarzenegger joined the show for a surprise cameo too. In one skit, he invites the pair to give a fitness pep talk to some kids, but it soon becomes apparent that they're simply clueless.
If you continue on this way, I'm gonna twist your flap into the shape of a pacifier, and I'm gonna have you suck on it until you poop in your diapers. Huh? How about that?
Not only does he take the wind out of their sails, he also shows them how it's done. Number 13, Bryan Cranston. After the 2016 election, it often felt like reality was imitating fiction. That's why it seemed rather fitting that SNL would turn to fictional TV to send up some of the unusual choices who were joining the new cabinet. Walter White is brought out of retirement to become the new head of the DEA, upon Steve Bannon's recommendation.
Oh yeah, Steve's the best. We've had some times.
He explains how his credentials are really no different than those of his new colleagues, even faking his own death. The skit is peppered with plenty of hilarious Breaking Bad references, and his countless witty quips have us cracking up every single time.
The top companies in the country had been knocking on his door for years, but he never answered.
Well, I am the one who knocks.
Number 12, the Five Timers Club. When Justin Timberlake made it to the Five Timers Club of celebrities who've hosted SNL 5 times or more, the show resurrected an occasionally recurring skit that pictures the club as an actual club, of the members-only variety. This time, the show pulled out all the stops and featured cameos from no less than 8 people. Paul Simon, Steve Martin, Chevy Chase, Martin Short, Dan Aykroyd, Alec Baldwin, Candice Bergen, and Tom Hanks all made appearances. The bit about the club members entertaining themselves by forcing current SNL players to fight each other to the death is a particularly funny one.
Gouge his eyes, Terry!
Number 11, Alec Baldwin. After the first televised debate of the 2016 U.S. presidential election, SNL came to rely on surprise appearances from perennial host and guest star Alec Baldwin to do comedic justice to the resort mogul's over-the-top personality and distinctive speech patterns.
Our jobs are fleeing this country. They're going to Mexico. They're going to China.
At times, Donald Trump can seem like an impossible man to parody. But Baldwin always delivers the goods, walking a fine line between the real president's outrageous actions and the winking zaniness of a great SNL parody.
Trust me, I know things are, as the locals say, despacito.
No matter how many times he reprises the role, we never get tired of watching this master Trump satirist at work, especially when he shares the screen with Melissa McCarthy as Sean Spicer.
I'm here to swallow gum, and I'm here to take Nate.
Number 10, Barry Gibb. In a recurring sketch that answers the question, what if Barry Gibb hosted a political talk show? Jimmy Fallon played the titular character, with Justin Timberlake as his brother Robin. Inviting politicians and newsmakers for interviews is great. But of course, what is a show starring 2/3 of the Bee Gees without some music? Around 10 years following the sketch's debut, the real Barry Gibb makes a surprise appearance, joining the others to sing at the end of the segment.
Where have been?
It was certainly an exciting moment for Bee Gees fans, and we get to see Barry's humorous side too. Number 9, Matt Damon. Brett Kavanaugh's Supreme Court hearing was so bizarre that it didn't require a huge leap from fact to satire. We all saw the SNL material practically write itself. So the only question left was who would play the beer-loving nominee.
Let me tell you this. I'm gonna start at an 11. I'm gonna take it to about a 15 real quick.
Matt Damon delivers a faultless performance, mirroring some of the hearing's more peculiar moments, from Kavanaugh's constant sniffing and weird calendars to his intense mood swings and inexplicable rage. Reportedly, Damon was only brought on board the night before the sketch was set to air. Still, the payoff speaks for itself. We're almost sorry it was only a one-off occasion.
And everyone can relate to that.
All right, now,
Number 8, Paul McCartney.
Two of Saturday Night Live's most popular hosts, Steve Martin and Alec Baldwin, who have hosted the show a combined total of more than 30 times to date, waggle their egos at each other in this 2006 skit, each trying to prove that theirs has been the more illustrious hosting career of the two.
14? Wait a minute, let's see. October 23rd, 1976, February 26th, 1977.
Seeing the two host together is entertaining enough, and seeing Martin Short as a waiter only adds to the fun. But it's Paul McCartney's wordless appearance that really steals the show. Not even Steve Martin's quick joke can hide both actors' genuine surprise at seeing Sir Paul up close and personal.
It is Paul Simon. It's close, yeah.
Number 7, Larry David.
Back in 2015, SNL decided to send up the Democratic presidential primary candidates with a couple of special guest impressions. Although this cold open also featured Alec Baldwin as Virginia Senator Jim Webb, Larry David stole the show with his cantankerous, scowling Bernie Sanders impression.
We're doomed! We need a revolution!
His spot-on cameo appearance as the famous U.S. Senator was such a big hit with audiences that the Curb Your Enthusiasm comedian has revisited it several times since then, and even appeared alongside the actual Bernie Sanders in a later sketch.
We need to unite and work together if we're all going to get through this. Sounds like socialism to me!
For SNL viewers, it came as no big surprise when the two later found out they were related by blood.
Number 6, Sarah Palin.
This cold open featuring Tina Fey's popular Sarah Palin impression starts innocently, with Fey as Palin taking questions from the press and giving typically silly answers. But then it cuts to a cameo montage of people criticizing Lorne Michaels for leading with the bit, including Mark Wahlberg, Alec Baldwin, and finally, Sarah Palin herself.
But I feel I must say this. You are way hotter in person.
Fey is eventually notified that the actual Sarah Palin will be taking the stage, and bows out so that Palin herself can kick things off.
Live from New York, it's Saturday night!
It's a quick, tight bit with an unexpected twist, much like the time Hillary Clinton visited Kate McKinnon.
I just realized I never checked your ID. Come on, please!
Number 5, Madonna.
Musical guest Lady Gaga showed off her sketch comedy chops in this classic segment, which sees the singer joined on the stage by pop megastar and SNL favorite Madonna in a surprise cameo appearance. The two play vicious and self-absorbed versions of themselves, trading venomous insults with each other as they try and fail to get along and perform together for the Deep House Dish music program. The skit packs in a flurry of subtle references to both singers and pop music fame in general.
What kind of a name is Lady Gaga? It sounds like baby food. The kind that's number one on the Billboard chart!
Years later, the two stars actually would have a public disagreement, but that feud never reached the laugh-out-loud heights of this 2009 gem.
Number 4, Alex Trebek.
Will Ferrell's mega-popular skits featured the future elf actor as a worn-out, frustrated version of Jeopardy game show host Alex Trebek, with 3 clueless celebrities, played by cast members and guests, taking the podium to answer simple pieces of trivia in the form of a question.
of Simon and Garfunkel, the one that is not Garfunkel?
I Garfunkeled your mother.
Daryl Hammond's foul-mouthed Sean Connery impression is the first thing most people remember about it, but the last of the regular Celebrity Jeopardy segments also featured a surprise cameo from the real Alex Trebek himself.
And so this was the final Jeopardy.
He came off to help send off Ferrell from the segment, and let Hammond's Connery get in a few more off-color jabs at both their expense.
Well, 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 2 Trebeks. I feel like I'm in a Raisin Bran commercial, 2 scoops of fruit.
Back off, Connery. I don't have to take that from you.
Number 3. Barack Obama.
Back in 2007, when Barack Obama was still just a primary candidate for the office of President of the United States, he made this typically deadpan cameo on a skit set at Bill and Hillary Clinton's Halloween party. Various political guests show up in costume and share a joke or two with the beleaguered hosts. Finally, a tall, slim guest approaches in an Obama novelty mask. After the usual commentary from the Clintons, their guest removes the mask to reveal Senator Obama himself.
I enjoy being myself. I'm not going to change who I am just because it's Halloween.
Well, that's great.
It's a great example of the dry sense of humor Americans came to expect from number 44 in the subsequent years of his presidency.
Number 2. Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci.
Jim Breuer's recurring The Joe Pesci Show sketch featured an impression of the famous actor as a violent maniac, similar to his characters in the films Goodfellas and Casino, who used any perceived slight from his guests as an excuse to assault them.
Take care.
Why? I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, you are.
The segment also often used special guests to play Robert De Niro, who would validate Pesci's anger and join in alongside him. So when the real Pesci and De Niro eventually showed up on the sketch in an unannounced double cameo, the comedic tension was almost too much.
I'm actually a very calm, laid-back person.
The 2 veteran actors played their parodied selves to a T and brought the house down in the process.
See, first thing you have to do is you take the bat, you hit him in the knees. Oh! Then you hit him in the head. You understand what I'm talking about?
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Barbra Streisand and Madonna.
SNL's studio audience was already delighted enough by the surprise appearance of superstar pop singer Madonna on this episode of Mike Myers' recurring talk show sketch. But even the Material Girl herself was starstruck when the legendary Barbra Streisand popped in.
All this talk about food, I'm getting hungry, girl.
She entered at just the right time, too, during a moment when both characters were praising her singing voice. The rare cameo by Streisand was the result of a last-minute, off-the-cuff arrangement with SNL head honcho Lorne Michaels, so none of the cast even knew it was happening until it did.
That's all the time we have. I have to go and die now.
The surprise and admiration radiating from Madonna's face was unscripted, totally real, and impossible to forget.
Did we forget any awesome cameos? Let us know in the comments below.
Vanessa, what are you doing?
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.